Okay, I think we got it. We're live. We just had a little technical, our Wi-Fi on both ends stopped. I don't know if there's something going on. You can never make this up, right? So I'll let you get adjusted. She had to,
Okay.
yep. But we're live, everyone. And while she's getting adjusted, I just want to welcome you all. My name is Carla Berlin. You're watching Around Town TV live, Minnesota's lifestyle and business experts. We've been bringing you the best kept secrets, businesses, organizations, and people since 2003. And I'm so excited tonight to have a dear friend that I met through pageantry. And I'm glad that we've stayed connected. And one of our connections is through metastatic cancer. As many of you know, my dear mother lost her battle in March of 2021 after fighting breast cancer for 27 and a half years and metastatic breast bone cancer for 12 years and 2 months. And then she had treatment the entire time. So it was quite a journey for her. And are you dealing with the sun?
Carla,
That's okay. That's okay, hon.
we will get this. Okay, I can't see myself. I
Oh,
can
you
see
can't?
you.
Oh, do you
Phone's all
because you
set.
have your iPad, right?
So now we are good. Now I have myself on the phone. I've got you on here. We are set. Technology is now our friend again, I think.
I know, and then I could feel the sun coming in. But
Oh,
yes. Oh, it's always something. And her and I were talking about that. We've been on since 6:30. We had a few glitches. We got them figured out. And then for both of us, our my Wi-Fi literally went to red and it said lost connection. And there was no, that's never happened. What are you going to do?
we're
Least
here.
of our worries, right? But
Yeah.
we're here and we're going to get, and you're off, like you're out of the shot. There you are. Now you're in.
Am I
Yeah.
good? Okay, I
Yeah.
won't move. We're going to get this. We're all set.
Oh, so welcome. As you can see, her name. Some of you know her by Jackie, but Jaqueline Vranicure. Um, thank you for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule with four kids, five kids,
4 kids.
four kids. Yeah,
Feels like 5 maybe sometimes.
right. And just running. They're all very active. And Jackie, if you don't mind sharing your story, a little bit about your history and background with cancer and your diagnosis and story with the viewers.
Sure. Um, Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Let's rewind. Let's see. It was 2020, and I, like the rest of the world, was figuring out COVID and homeschooling our 4 kids. And my, you know, my mother had died of stomach cancer in 2006, and so I was hyper vigilant almost about my health. And my father had prostate cancer, and so my general practitioner doctor said she recognized my desire to be super healthy. I mean, I enjoyed eating kale chips and had ditched Diet Coke, and I thought that I was really doing everything I could to live a long, healthy life, and I was. And so back to 2020, COVID, I still made it to my annual exam, and it included a breast exam. And I went into that appointment really feeling almost like the feeling you have if you leave home and is the coffee maker on? Did I turn the dryer off? That type of thing.
Interesting.
And I shared this with her, and she said, well, everything checks out fine. You look good to me, but let's run some extra blood work. And you're 38, you're not too far from having a mammogram. And so we scheduled the mammogram, and there was my tumor. Um,
Mm.
and that's when everything really changed. I mean, initially we thought that I was stage 2. My lymph nodes looked clear. I had a relatively small tumor, and did an MRI, chest MRI, and everything looked good. Sent it off for a second opinion at Mayo Clinic, and they said, we agree with your diagnosis, but there's something on your liver. It looks like a shadow, but this wasn't a scan set up to see your liver. But at some point, maybe you want to have that checked out. Proceeded with 12 weeks of chemotherapy, lost my hair, had
I
a
remember.
port put in. Um, so if you had breast cancer, you might this might be familiar to you. Part of my tumor was 30% HER2 positive. And to treat that, you do immunotherapy. And so I did that every week. I did the Taxol chemotherapy every third week for 12 weeks. And then at the end of those 12 weeks, I had a double mastectomy. And my lymph nodes looked clear on, they did take some of my sentinel nodes during that. And then I was scheduled to have a liver resection 6 weeks later because I had this benign mass on my liver, we thought. And went in, removed 60% of my liver, and then they biopsied it and found out it was actually my breast cancer metastasized
Wow.
to my liver. So I was actually stage 4 from my original diagnosis, and just we didn't know until we had the liver resection. So that is how my diagnosis
And
was.
I forgot it was during COVID. And
Yeah.
I actually thought your mother passed from breast cancer. I didn't know it was stomach cancer.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
she had stomach cancer. And so breast cancer wasn't even on my radar because I
Yes.
thought that you got breast cancer if your mother had it, if your aunt or your grandma.
Oh,
My aunt did have breast cancer. I did have a cousin with breast cancer, but I thought that you had the BRCA mutation. I thought that's what, and I had done genetic testing years prior to see if I had a genetic mutation that would make me more susceptible to stomach cancer or to breast cancer. And I don't have any gene mutations. So I thought I was safe. And it turns out, oh, like less than 10% of all breast cancers are hereditary. And I was under the impression that I didn't need to be worried about it. And
wow.
obviously not the case.
Well, and the other thing that I've noticed from when my mom was diagnosed with her breast cancer in 1993, 4 to yours, 17 years later, or no, that would have been like 30 years later.
Mhm.
Um, she, they did the mastectomy first and then the treatment. And with
Mhm.
her, because when and hers was a different situation, she was originally given 6 months to 2 years right away. And
Wow.
they said that treatment wouldn't, because they thought it was IVC, that
Mhm.
it wouldn't change the outcome. So she chose not to do chemo, thinking, and and hers was 15 years and then metastasized,
Wow.
but went to bone from breast to bone from her base of her neck to her knees.
Mm.
And as and there's many of you watching that as you learn Jackie's story, or you followed my mom's. As you can see, Jackie's a very beautiful beautiful gal, and gorgeous. In fact, I met her through the Miss America program, which won't surprise any of you. Very talented, very active. She's a runner, she's healthy. My mom was too.
Yeah.
But what you don't understand is, so when people see you, they're like, oh, you're doing great. No, once you're given that
Mhm.
diagnosis, you do some form of treatment in some way, or it's
Mhm.
monitored the rest of your life.
Oh, right. I mean, it is shocking when I tell someone that I have a stage 4 cancer because I look so healthy and I do
And
feel
beautiful. Yeah.
thank you. And I feel relatively healthy. I mean, my body's been through a lot in the last 4 years, and I following the liver resection, I did 29 rounds of radiation, and then I started on this regimen of taking two, they're called CDK4/6, they're tumor inhibitors, and I take a
Mhm.
hormone blocker. So at 38, I woke up postmenopausal, and that comes with its own side effects. And
Yeah.
so my body is aging very rapidly. And, but that is, something that I think is, inhibits us from receiving the attention that we need, is that we
Yeah.
look healthy and we
Right.
look like when I was going through, traditional chemotherapy, I was bald. I was quite thin. I looked like I had cancer, or what we think cancer looks like. And that garners a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Um, and it's easy to attach to something like that. When you see me, when you see your mother, um,
Yeah.
that is harder to think, oh gosh, we need to fund this
Right. To
until
tug on
it's
the
too late.
heartstrings. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, because And I have lost so many friends over the course of the 4 years since my diagnosis who looked like me. And
Yeah.
so it is, I think it's confusing for people, and it is a very complex disease. And that's part of the reason
Right.
it is so hard to treat as well.
Well, and one of the reasons I wanted Jackie to come on and share her story, and we've got a few other things, to share with you that you can see in the description. Um, what people don't realize, you see the big cancer, around Mother's Day and the various organizations. What a lot of you don't realize is for any nonprofit that does a fundraiser, legally only 10%. Well, there's a certain percentage that has to go to whatever you say, but for research and
Mhm.
cancer, you'd be surprised less than 10% or around that 10%, depending on the organization, the fundraiser actually goes to research. A
Mhm.
lot of it goes to other very well needed things. But until we focus on research, we will not be able to come up with a cure to allow people to continue to live very long lives. In fact, the average person with metastatic breast bone cancer lives 26 months. My mother lived 12 years and 2 months, which
Mhm.
is amazing because but she got lucky. Like when one chemo stopped, there was one chemo that stopped working in June, and in June, the one she was then on for 4 years had just been approved by the FDA. So, I mean, there was some luck that went her way too. And but one of the reasons I wanted Jackie on is metastatic cancer. What is the statistics I had written the other day?
Oh, I mean, less than 5% of all breast
Yeah,
cancer research funding is for the only deadly form of the disease.
right. And 30, there is no cure for
Oh, we
metastatic.
can,
Yeah,
well, and that's right. And so there is not a cure for breast cancer because the only kind you die from is not curable. And even diagnosed stage 0, 1, 2, or 3, early stage breast cancer, the chance of recurrence, unfortunately, like your mother, is 30%. And that's years or decades later. When the breast cancer comes back, that is stage 4, it's incurable. And that is what we need to be funding
right.
more equally in comparison to early stage breast cancer, because that is the deadly form of the disease. Even if women are living longer, the recurrence risk is still there.
Hmm. Well, and this was 3 years ago, so it could have changed. But I remember asking my mom's oncologist, are people living longer?" And she said, "No, on the
Mm,
average, no." And because my mom had such great success, there were many times that when we were there at the oncologist for a visit or for chemo or whatever, it would take, sometimes they're running behind, and usually it was a case where she had to have the talk with somebody that was being diagnosed. And she said, "I used to use you, Sandy, as an example, but she said I don't want to ever give people false hope."
yeah. Yeah.
And but for you, your diagnosis and journey led to she's Vranicure, but it led to Vranicure. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, late one night, I was desperately searching the internet for anyone who was my age, who was diagnosed with stage 4, who had outlived the statistics. And that's when I learned that so little funding goes to this form of the disease. And I thought, well, if it's only money standing in our way, there's a lot of money out there. We just need to get our hands on it. And so we officially became a nonprofit just about a month ago. We were under the umbrella of the incredible organization MetaViver. Prior to that,
Yeah.
MetaViver, Vranicure, all of our donations, all the proceeds go directly to fund stage 4 metastatic breast cancer research. Um, but it was shocking and disheartening when I learned that. But I knew I could do something. And
Mhm.
so we raised $200,000 by, you know,
Congrats.
really, I mean, me, handful of girlfriends trying to, put our resources together to do as much as we can. And because I do feel a deep sense of responsibility to the women who cannot do this, who can no longer do this, and I'm very able bodied yet. And so I
Mhm.
want to take every opportunity.
Well, and I told Jackie last night when we were doing a test to ensure that we wouldn't have any technical problems.
Oh,
But like I told her, it never fails. I just roll with it now. It always happens. And we were talking about that. And I said, that's why I want to be a part of it, because I not only lost someone near and dear to my heart that was my best friend, but she was too sick to do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
Where I right now, knock on wood, as long as I'm healthy, I want to be able to support and give people like Jackie a very long life and research. And wouldn't that be wonderful if we can come up with cures, because we have raised enough money for this research. So, and those of you that are tuning in, you'll see different links, and we're going to talk about the Vranicure Bash coming up here in a little bit. We got a few other things to talk about, but there's a lot of different events and ways you can support, whether it's through that. In fact, Jackie will talk about her Vranicure organization. She even sells cool things and hats and whatever. In fact, we should do like a little fashion show sometime
We
on
should.
downtown. I thought of that. Yeah. And I know how busy you are, but yeah, we'll have you in studio and then have whomever wear it. Yeah, we'll do a little
That'd be
something
great.
fun. Yeah, but talk a little bit more about the Vranicure and what you're doing and what that all entails.
Yeah.
And congrats on the nonprofit. I know
Thank
how hard that is.
And it is, it's time consuming, and it's also intimidating, because you don't want something you don't want to, mess up.
No, and it's expensive, and you got to be
Yeah.
very careful. You don't ever,
So, so Vranicure, like throughout the year, we do sell gear, hats and shirts, and it has, I should have had, one of my 4 children is here. Would you grab me a hat or something that has Vranicure heart on it, honey? Yes.
Oh, thank you, Peyton.
And so we sell gear with it, and all the proceeds get donated. And but our biggest event, our biggest fundraiser, is the Vranicure Bash, and it started with my 40th birthday. I just invited people to come and donate to the cause. And you have a hat? Okay.
Yay!
So if we can, so this is, you can see the heart, Carla.
Hi, Peyton. You want to put it on and be in the shot?
Put a hat on and be in the picture. Can you
Our
see?
model. Oh, there we go. I love it. It's so in.
So this one is for our hockey association, but
yeah. The trucker hats are so in right now. Yeah.
Yes. So we have shirts, and we anything that, I mean, I hate to be like a used car salesman, but really,
no,
you name it, I'll put the heart on it and sell it. And what has been heartwarming is that we started with one hat, and then we added just Chaska across the front, and then someone from Eden Prairie saw it, and they said, "Can we have one?" And then it was Farmington, "Can we have one?" And Wayzata, and pretty soon, I mean, it is just incredible once the ball starts rolling and people say, "Oh, what is this for?" "We're raising money for stage 4 breast cancer." "Oh my gosh, of course I want to be part of that." So that has been incredible. And so the bash will have some of that merchandise there for sale.
Or you can go to your website. You can buy it through there too.
Yeah, Vranicure.org. There's items on there you can buy. But the bash will have live entertainment by Brass Menagerie, and we'll have food from Pablo's and Shakopee, and kids' activities, and a silent auction with some really generous donors giving to it. And we're going to recognize, we have 2 really big research grants from our work last year. One, the work that's being done at MD Anderson that is was named in honor and memory of my friend Lindsay Block. Another research grant that has been named for my friend Kelsey Granowski, who passed away last year, and that's at Johns Hopkins. And so you donate to this cause, I can show you exactly where your money went. That your $20 from the hat is going to a researcher. Well, at the U of M, we're and works with them. I want to tell a quick story about how you think that maybe your $20 won't go anywhere. We met with the University of Minnesota researchers, the oncology researchers, and they show us this binder of 25 research projects they want to do. And they say, "We can't fund these. The cure could be in here and we can't fund them." They said 70% of their time is spent writing grants to try to fund the work they want to do, which seems so backwards to me, because they should be in the lab researching, not trying to find the money to do this work that we need. And so our work will be to help them get back into the lab, give them money they need to do this work, and we can actually change the future of breast cancer this way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to take a moment. Pam Postion
I
just said,
see Pam.
proud of you, Jacqueline.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sweet. I saw that. Hi, Pam. Thank you so much. That really
Yeah. Thank
means
you,
a lot.
Pam. And Pam has had her own loss and other
Yes.
uncurable diseases as
Yeah.
well.
No.
And just the horrible. Yep.
Oh,
She's crossed paths with dementia and ALS,
yeah.
two other just beasts. And Pam,
Mhm.
I love you and think of you often. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she loves us too. Thanks,
Oh,
hon. Oh gosh. Well, we'll have to have her come down maybe for the gala. Have a girls' weekend.
that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Always up for that.
Yeah, definitely. And Pam knew my mom very well, spent time with us and with her daughter and not only and my dad. So, we've been through it all, haven't us girls?
Yes.
Um, so if anyone is just tuning in, my name is Carla Berlin, and I have a Jaqueline Vranicure with us tonight. And she was sharing about her diagnosis in cancer. If you missed that, you can go back. This will be embedded. And we were talking about how that led to Vranicure, her now nonprofit organization
Yeah.
that not only does sell, hats and things like that, but 100, right?
Yes.
Percent of the proceeds
Yes.
goes straight to, and she can show you to research and
Hmm.
looking for cures for metastatic cancers that only receive like 2 to 5%, right, of all
Right.
the funding, which is the only cancer that you pass away from, is
Hmm.
metastatic cancers.
Right.
And so it's a little backwards. And so anything that we can do to support her, not only through her organization, but she's also got, a few other things that we're going to get to talk about, at the end too. But you give care packages. Talk
Hmm.
about what those are and who those go to, that sort of thing.
Yeah. When I was, I've had many surgeries now. In fact, trying to actually count how many I have had the last 4 years, and
Well,
leading
and
into
none of them were seamless. I have to, say that you think you go in to have a problem and no, like
yeah,
poor
yeah.
Jackie has been through, what, I'm just like
Went in
jinxed.
once for a liver, not liver, a lung biopsy. Should have been in and out in an hour. I spent a week and a half in the hospital with a collapsed lung. So
During
the
COVID, so she
question
couldn't see her
is
kids.
just
Yeah.
so that is actually a piece of advice. I mean, I'll talk about the care packages, but a piece of advice for anyone newly diagnosed, and maybe you could speak to this too, is that it's nice to have a plan in place, but to be flexible with knowing that that plan is not going to happen, that it is going to go up and down, and you are best suited to just kind of try to roll with it because letting
Yeah.
go of some of that control is hard. But
Yes.
your diagnosis is unknown, and it's just it's going to be up and down. So
Well, and having those people to support you, I agree with you, Jackie. And I used to say to my mom and dad, and I know you have a good support system as well, as I wonder what people do that don't
mm,
have a support system. And they didn't hesitate. My mom would say they die because
mm,
you do need an advocate, because when things don't go right, you might not be able to advocate for yourself, where I could be like, okay, yes, you're rolling with it. um, this X, Y, and Z happened, but hey, we need to get her this
mhm,
help right now. This is what's going on. Her to
absolutely.
call in.
Absolutely. And, and so part of that support comes from women that you might not even meet in person. And I found that in when I was facing my first surgery, I received this large package in the mail full of pillows of all shapes and sizes that I didn't even know I needed, and care items, self care items. And it was from another woman who had heard I was going into this surgery, and she sent it to me and said, "Keep it as long as you want, and then please pass it to the next woman who will need it." And so from that, um, started Vranicare and their care packages that are free of charge. They're funded by the generous donations of friends and family and strangers on the internet, or friends I haven't met yet, I like to say, rather than strangers.
Oh,
And there's the specialty pillows, there's lotions from when you have radiation and you have radiation burns, and there's anti-nausea things for to add to your water and stay hydrated. And it's a pretty good size package, free of charge, like I said. um, it's for any woman facing a breast cancer surgery. stage 4, stage 0, lumpectomy, bilateral mastectomy, whatever the case may be. Just
There's
need to
no good cancer. That's,
no, there's
people say,
no
oh, well, if you have this one or that one, even cancer, no, it's not good. And
no.
everybody needs little extra love during that time.
Yes. So that's what my hope was. The real special piece in that is that there are 2 journals, one to keep, one to write a note to keep for the next woman to receive. So when she gets it, she can read through it, have some words of encouragement, knowing someone has walked this path in front of her.
That is fantastic. And coming up on September 7th is the Vranicure Bash. Let's share with the public what that is, how you can be, show up, be involved, support it. If you can't make it, donations are always accepted. But share with everybody what the Vranicure Bash entails.
Sure. Yep. September 7th at the Emerson Pavilion in Eden Prairie. And 5 to 10 p.m. live music, food. Tickets are available on our website at vranicure.org. And you can come the night of. We would really prefer that we get a good number of who's going to be there prior, but always taking donations. Have a silent auction. We have a live auction. It'll be hosted by my friend Chris from It's Mo Time. And anyone, if you are a lawn enthusiast or not, can enjoy Chris's character, or personality on social media. So check
Should we
him
bring
out.
our own chairs, or will there be places
Nope.
Okay.
It's an indoor glass pavilion. It is a beautiful setup. The band will be moved outdoors this year, everyone. It was very loud inside last year, but bands outside, kids activities outside, inside, it's a beautiful dinner, silent auction, merchandise area to shop. We have new, anyone's familiar with Karma Stacks. She has made beautiful new bracelets for us this year. She's also a cancer survivor of colon cancer, started beading when she was in the hospital, receiving her treatment. And so great connection with her there, but we'll have those for sale.
Fantastic.
Really great night. And we'll share more about our research that grants that we have funded. And really, I have a big goal of, we raised $65,000 at last year's bash. And so
Wow.
I haven't publicly said what, but more. I'm aiming
More.
higher. We're hoping.
Yes.
Hoping to do more this year.
One question I have for you, because your situation, you're so much younger than my mom, and I became the mom, and she became sort of the daughter. But you are a mom, and you're diagnosed. You have 4 children. They're very active. You are very active. So the saying of and your husband as well, that when someone gets cancer, the whole family gets cancer.
Yeah.
How should somebody... I mean, we talked about things for the person getting cancer, but what about the family, the kids, the husband? I mean, do you have any advice for somebody who's just newly diagnosed?
Absolutely. There are really great organizations, Inheritance of Hope. They have a Hope Hub here in the Twin Cities now where you can get together with other families with similar diagnosis. So the kids can meet other kids. The Angel Foundation, there's a summer camp for kids that they can go to. The Grief Club is fantastic. Is it Jax? My friends are screaming at me, telling me the name online right now. I know, but my friends.
That's all right. They can post it in comments. We'll go back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And so Jax is just for the caretaker. It does lean, I think, a little bit towards the husbands and men is what I've seen but any caretaker can be part of that. So there are resources. And I think it's important for kids to know that there are other kids with parents living with a disease like this, and that they aren't alone. Like you said, a support system is so important, and to not overlook your caretaker and your kids in this.
Yeah. And they can get exhausted. I mean, especially because the medical teams don't always realize what is going on in their life professionally and others. And I mean, there was one time especially when both were sick, and I'm at Methodist and everything was on opposite ends of the hospital, and they're literally running me. Finally, I stopped and I said, wait, let's use our common sense here. Is there somebody else that could take that while I take that? Yeah, no problem. And I'm like, well, then let's do that. Because you're like, I'm exhausted. I've been up since 4 in the, a.m. and trying to do this. And it's just asking. And sometimes
Yes.
we're afraid to do that because you don't want to be that person,
Mm-hmm.
but it can be done in a way where, they're more than willing to help if they know. Then they don't always understand either. They're there to, to look in front of them at what's on the screen, the patient, and then they forget, not
Yes.
intentionally that, oh yeah, the caregiver
No,
might be a
yeah,
little
right.
exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what else have we not covered that maybe would be important to those tuning in? Um,
Sure. I would say that was fortunate that my doctor listened to my request to really dig into further what might be going on.
yeah.
And so being your loudest advocate, like you said, the doctor is in the appointment with you, then move on to the next patient. But it is your life, and
Yeah.
you really need to advocate for what you need. And if you feel like something is wrong, well, then keep pursuing it until you're proven wrong, or maybe you're proven right. Like I was. And because knowledge is power. And if you have
Yeah.
something going on, it is scary to have a diagnosis, but it's scarier to live,
The unknown.
yeah, to live, with ignorance and not face what is happening. So, really taking charge of your health and being proactive about your health is super important. Um, I am healthy, super, take care of myself, and
Yes.
it
She's
can
a
happen.
runner. Like she
Yeah,
even ran through her treatment.
I ran through treatment. I sure did. I don't know what I was thinking. And I'm running the Twin Cities 10 mile this fall again. And it is the morning after Minneapolis Masquerade, which we could talk about.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
it is a fantastic. So I mentioned Metaviver. The
Yes.
Minneapolis Masquerade is a local, I guess, arm of that, and our annual event for that is a beautiful gala at Mystic Lake Casino, October 5th. Tickets and tables are available for purchase still.
Hmm.
We get dressed up really fancy, and we
Oh,
have an emotional roller coaster of a night.
I'll be
Remember,
there this year. So come
yeah,
join me, everybody. Yep.
we're gonna love it. I mean, there's a really beautiful dinner. We acknowledge those we have lost, and we, continue to focus on the research that needs to be funded, and then we party. There's a band and
Oh,
live music, and yeah, it's a great.
wow. And Sandy, my mom loved a party. She just loved to have fun, and so did my dad. So I know that that would be something they would definitely support if they could be with us. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate. I know we've had several people online, and I know this will also be something that people that might have missed parts of this, don't be afraid to go back. This is embedded. Many of you know, Around Town TV, Minnesota's lifestyle and business experts, has been airing. It started on broadcast for over 20 years, and we've been going in live stream where our viewers seem to be. We are the longest airing television community showcase, and that wouldn't happen without amazing viewers and support system of all of you, and then great people like Jackie, organizations and people to help get the word out, give them visibility, help them raise money, or whatever their organization's goal is, or like the Vranicure Bash coming up. And that couldn't happen without all of you. So I'm just grateful that you tune in and you continue to support me on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Jackie, I know we talked about your history and Vranicure, the packages, the bash, and if Metafiber, but is there anything else that you think the viewers should know?
October is right around the corner. I don't want summer to end, but October is coming,
Yep.
and we all know it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But
Yes.
we are all very aware that women get breast cancer. And the awareness, if it doesn't become action, is only awareness. And I would encourage you, when you are buying something with a pink ribbon on it, like, really be a conscious consumer. Um, a pink ribbon can be slapped on anything, and no need for that to actually be given to um, finding a cure for this disease. And
Right.
so, if you want to help end breast cancer, be conscious of where your money is going. I would un- unapologetically ask that you donate to Vranicure, you donate to Metaviver, because that is funding the research that will end breast cancer.
And they
And
can show you even to what
yes,
research. Yeah. In fact, my mom, we were given an amazing oncologist when she was first diagnosed. And then he retired and went into hospice. And the gal we were given, completely opposite personality, Dr. Rachel Lerner, but we fell in love with her. And one of the reasons I was so impressed with her is I believe she had been in research for 13 years before she
wow.
started practicing. And
Hmm.
so I knew she had, and my mom said the same thing. And we ended up loving her. And my mom, in fact, sadly, but luckily, my mom outlived. People used to say because she did have such great longevity, they would say, "Well, what do your oncologists think?" And she's like, "Well, they were gone. Like the first one died, the second one retired, and then we had to, so she's had to like switch a couple times, but she outlived most of her oncologists. So let's try to give everybody a cure so they can all outlive their
I
oncologist.
hope to do the same as Sandy.
Yeah. Yeah. So and ask questions. Don't be afraid to say, because people, and do your homework and do your digging, because you'd be surprised at how much doesn't go to research. It goes to
Hmm.
keep the organization going, administration and salaries, and which we need, but we're never
Sure.
going to come up with a cure. And they're great organizations till we can give fund to the research so they don't have to write the grants. They can be in the labs finding a cure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
show me who doesn't have a connection to breast cancer. We've all been affected by it. With 1 in 8 women and 1 in 3 of those women becoming stage 4, I mean,
right.
any.
Right. And be your advocate, both good and bad. I had the opposite. Jackie knows this, and you've all seen maybe my post. I had a health scare this past couple weeks, and thought I don't have any symptoms, and thought I was fine. And what the type of cancer, I had zero symptoms. And I have to be careful of that too. They had me running in and doing, I mean, a couple $1,000s worth of bills that I have self-employment, healthcare. So I was feeling the other way, and everything came
Mhm.
out fine.
Thank
But this person, I mean, I was afraid. And so, but I asked the right questions.
you. Yeah.
I reached out to my healthcare team that I trust, and they were very supportive and very, all class acts about it. And so you have to do it both ways. Don't be afraid to be that advocate. It's hard, but
Mhm.
it's your life depends on it.
It really does. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. So vranicure.org is in the
Right.
website. The link to the actual bash is in there as well. If anyone's interested in the masquerade, it's called, right?
Yep. The masquerade.
Metzgerade coming up
Mhm.
as well in October, we can get you that link. But don't, and her and I are connected. If you're somebody who knows if somebody was diagnosed, or you want to get involved or anything, but you're afraid, because I know talking about health can be very, very private, and you don't want to be in the comments, you feel free to message me and I can get you to Jackie. My dad was very, very private, but he actually, I would ask him, like, are you sure you want me to put something on Caring Bridge about you? And he's like, yes, look what it did for mama. All the prayers, it's
Oh,
worked.
yeah.
Please. And so, but everyone's different, and it's okay to keep it private, and I will support that. So, but just know that if you're someone who needs a support system or whatever, don't hesitate to reach out to Jackie or and I. We'll get you to the right person.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Well, before we close, any shout outs or people you want to say hi to, or
I want to say hi to my dad always, because my dad's
oh,
always my #1 fan watching. So,
oh, hi, Dad. I
yeah.
remember him from pageant days. He probably
Yes.
wouldn't recognize me. I've
Oh,
aged.
y- you're a beautiful lady. He probably recognizes
No,
you.
no. Well, I thank you for supporting our lovely Jackie. And there's nothing better than a dad or support, and
Yep.
mom support as
Yeah.
well. And anybody else that you'd like to?
All the women that are living with metastatic breast cancer. When you were saying connections, I want to say the Firefly Sisterhood is an organization that will pair you with someone with a similar diagnosis. And
Oh,
so that is a great tool. I should have thought about it earlier in
that's okay.
speaking today. But Firefly Sisterhood, just Google that. You can get connected with another woman who has the same diagnosis or similar diagnosis to you. So you have someone to really connect with.
Well, and if we want, we can even put the link in the
That'd be
comments
great.
or whatever. Yeah, what, we'll, but yes, oh, thank you for that because I know that's very, very important to so many people. Anything else?
I think that's it, Carla. It is so
We
nice to do this with you tonight.
Oh, it's an honor to always be around you. You're always so positive and beautiful. And anything I can do, I know I said this the other day. By the way, her recent scan came back good.
Yes, I had a clear scan yesterday. Get a
Yay!
scan every 4 months, and it was clear, so we're
And
feeling
it
good.
did, unless you've been on the journey or watched someone on the journey, you have no idea what it's like for them. And then it's that monkey on the back, and they get like, and then they get
Mm-hmm.
gear up for the next 4 months or three
Yep.
months or 6 months, and it's never goes away. That's
No.
that's the life they
Yep.
live. So, congrats on that. Thank you again to all of you tuning in. Next week we have the Drip Bar in Edina that'll be featured, and it's vitamins and
Yeah.
for a lot of people who've had cancer or there's so many things just for health, and so it kind of fits the aftermath of this, and I'll be promoting that as well. But we go live Tuesday evening 7 p.m. Central Time, and I'm grateful again for all of you that are tuning in. Please tune in next week and join us. My name is Carla Berline along with Jackie Vranicure, and we'll see you all next week, hopefully. See you again. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Bye bye, everyone.